In this tutorial, we will concentrate on one topic, which is curtain walls, and we will see lots of things related to this topic. Though I would like just to give you a note that at the end of this course, there will be lots of extra videos discussing only curtain walls and going deep into the different aspects of how to use it the best way. So this video is just an introductory, and if you want to know lots of things about curtain walls, you'll end up going to the extras part and seeing lots of videos discussing this issue. So let's start working. What we will do, we'll go to the east part or east elevation of our building and try to add a curtain wall. As you recall, let's go to the 3D. We did some storefront and we discussed storefront. We'll change things here at today's video. But what we want to do is we want to work here in order to build up some curtain walls. And I want to show you the different methods of controlling or cutting or playing around the curtain wall. Okay, the first thing that we will do is we'll go to, the first thing we're gonna do is specify the width of the curtain wall, and we did this reference plane in the previous tutorial. So we will add two more, 3 meter from this side, 3 meter from this side, to have a total of a 6 meter width. And we'll go to reference plane. We will use pick lines. We'll specify an offset value of 3000, and then we will add one above and one below, and this is going to be the start point of the curtain wall. This will be the end point of the curtain wall. We'll go to wall architectural, and we'll go all the way down to the under the name curtain wall. We discussed the storefront, but what about curtain wall and exterior glazing? Curtain wall under curtain wall is a simple piece of glass. Simple piece of glass. That's it. No cutting inside and no measurement. It's something that you specify. So the width and the height will be something that you will specify. And if you want to be more workable, you go to exterior glazing. And exterior glazing is using the same method of curtain wall, which is a piece of glass, but it's a small pieces of glasses stacked over each other. So we'll go to the row part, which is curtain wall over here. And since we did that previously, we'll repeat that, and we'll keep repeating that through the course, that everything in Revit, keep it as is and create a duplicate. So it will not prevent you from using it elsewhere. So just simply don't play around with whatever the type over here there. Just simply go to edit type and say duplicate, and we will call it east elevation curtain wall. We'll remove the 2 and say OK, and that's it. We created a new type under the name of curtain walls, and we'll say OK. And we'll specify the base constraint to be 0GF. Okay, great. With no base offset, we'll make it 0. And then up to the roof with a -2000. Okay, great. So as you can see, the unconnected height is 6000. It's as we said previously, this is a read-only parameter. And we will make sure that it's at the center of the wall. We will click, and we'll go all the way to the other side and click. And a warning came out. It's not an error, it's a warning. It says highlighted walls overlap. They mean the basic wall and the curtain wall. One of them may be ignored when Revit finds room boundaries. Use cut geometry to embed one wall within the other. As we previously said about the storefront got this built in, that it can just simply take over the space from the basic wall. But the curtain wall by default isn't. So what we will do, after we read the warning, we'll go to the 3D, and you can see now there are two walls. One is embedded, one as if it's hidden, and the other one is just the basic wall. We'll go to modify, and we'll go to cut geometry, specify the basic wall first, then we will specify the curtain wall second, and here you go. Now it's shown in front of us. Great. Let's go to the east elevation view. Can see now, can see everything over here. Since I want to concentrate on the curtain wall, I want to do some divisioning over here. I would like to do the following simple trick. I'll select the curtain wall. I'll select it always from the boundary and come over here to the eyeglasses over here, and which is temporary hide and isolate. I'll click and I'll say isolate element. And once I do that, a cyan border will be shown telling me that this is a temporary hide and isolate. Everything except my curtain wall will be hidden. This will be the first method of how to cut a curtain wall into parts by going to architecture, under build, what's something called the curtain grid. Once you insert a curtain grid, that means it will be separated. It's not a one piece anymore. And I will go like curtain grid. And there are three buttons over here in the modify place curtain grid placement context tab. And it's called all segments, one segment, all except picked. We'll try to cover these three in the coming minutes. If you want to add a vertical grid, you go to a horizontal line. If you want to add a horizontal grid, you go to a vertical line. That's how you do it. Great. Now we will go to, we'll go to the first one, and we will add a 1.5. That's a 1 meter, 500 millimeter from the right. We'll do the same thing from the left. That's great. We'll do a 2 meter, and a 2 meter from bottom. As you can see, because I used all segments, that means all segments will be cut into two parts. That means if you come over here, press the tab, you can see now it's parts. Can you see? Now these are parts, these are pieces of glasses. It's no more one single glass. Now let's go back. Curtain grid, one segment. That means I will come over here and add a one segment just like that. I come over here and add a one segment like that. But sometimes, let me do it in the wrong way, and I'll show it to you how to do it the right way. If I use a one segment over here, it'll add a line that go all the way. So if you add a one segment over here, try to add another segment over here, you can see that Revit is preventing you from doing that. So I'll click anywhere and try to manipulate that. If you click on that, you can see the distance, the temporary distance. You can click on that and say 1000. And automatically a warning say that it's overlapping grid lines to be avoided. And it will actually ask you to delete the grid line. So how can I'll just remove it. Yes. And no, you know what? I'll undo that. Undo both lines. The right way to do it, if you want a line to be cut, is to use all except picked. So I will add one over here, all except picked, and you can see it's now red. It's not as if it's telling you it's not the final one. And I'll click on that, so that will be removed. So this will be added, this will be added, this will be removed. I'll press escape twice, and there you go. It's shown in front of you. Great. Let me reset, temporary hide, isolate. That's as if I'm saying unisolate. Another thing that I can do, I can change the profile of my walls. So if you picked on this wall, you can see now this is edit profile. That will allow me to add an arc shape. For instance, I'll say edit profile, and the magenta line appears. The magenta line is the boundary of your curtain wall and your basic wall as well. And once you see this, you have to understand that this should be continuous all the time, and there should be no gaps and no walking, no lines to overlap over another one. So no overlapping and no gaps. This is a very important issue. It should be continuous always. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add an arc. Okay, and I will specify radius. I'll type in radius 5000 for instance. There you go. This is mine. I cannot leave it like that because these are two branches and that will not be acceptable by Revit. So I'm going to click, I'm going to remove it, I'm going to remove the horizontal line, and this will be my new profile. I'll press the finish edit mode, and as you can see, now I got the shape that I want. I can go to over here and go to the curtain grid and add one more, which is over here, for my shape to be completed. Another thing that I can do, I can add mullions to these lines. So if I go to the 3D, you can see now they are just simply pieces of glasses stacked over each other and beside each other. And if I flip that 3D, you can see now the difference over here. There is mullions, the mullions of aluminum or any other material that you would like to use. So I'm going to go to East, I'm going to go to Mullion, and under the mullion, I got the grid line. I can do that grid line by grid line. I can say grid line segment, that's a grid line segment if I want to, or grid line to be used at the same thing. And I will use the default mullion size. And as you can see, the mullion sizes, as stated or as shown in front of you, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shapes: circular, L corner, quad corner, rectangular, trapezoidal corner, and V corner. And as you can see now, there are 4 of the 6 is saying corner, so they are used for corner mullions only. The rest are, which is circular and rectangular, can be used for both corners and interior mullions. I'm going to use the default one, which is rectangular mullion 50 by 150 millimeter, and I'll select all grid lines and I'll hover over one of the lines and I'll click. And as you can see right now, you can see now they are built inside my work. So I'm actually playing around with how things are done and how I can cut my curtain wall, which was one single piece of glass, 2 parts, then change the profile to an arc shape, then add mullions if you want to. Okay, one last thing that I can do, I can hover over here. And once I hover over here, you can see that Revit will select something. It's either will select the outside mullions or the whole wall or one of the mullions. But in order to select something that you want, you can hover over the part and keep pressing tab. And there you go, I got the glass. And as you can see, the family over here is system panel glazed. And as we did that previously, and as we will do that in the coming hours, we'll go to edit type, we'll go to duplicate, and I'll call this green glazed. And then I will remove the two. I'll say okay. And the thickness will be 25 millimeter. The material is glass. I'll click on the material glass and then go to this small button with the 3 dots, and I'll click it. That will open what we call the material browser. And as you can see now, we got the glass clear glazing, gypsum wall board, lots of other things. And I'll right click over here and say duplicate. As I'm used to do, I'll always do that. I will leave everything in its place and duplicate it. And I will use the word green in order to differentiate it from the other one. And the reason that I didn't call it green glass, so I would like to keep all of these beside each other in the material browser. I'll say okay, not okay, but click outside. And if you go to appearance over here, you can see now there is a hand with the letter with the number 2. Can you see that? Which means that this appearance is associated with the glass and clear clear glazing, which I don't want to change. So if you go to the color over here and change it to green, that means these will have the same color, which I don't want to again. What I have to do is to go over here to the appearance, right click and say duplicate. How many times we did a duplicate? And it called itself clear 1. Can you see that? It called itself clear 1. I'll go to identity. Where should I go? To appearance. I should change that. Identity. And okay, that the name is glass green. I should change the name here from clear 1 to something else. So I'm going to go over here and say green, and the color will change. Just make sure that glass has clear and clear glazing has clear, and glass green has clear 1, which is a different naming, so things will not intervening from each other. And I'll say okay, and I'll say okay, and one of the people will say nothing changed. You have to go to the visual style and click and choose realistic, and you can see now it's green. Now what about the other glasses? I would like to change them all to green. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to just hover over here and press tab up until I get that. And once I do that, I right click and say select panels on the host. So all of them is selected. Once this is true, I will go over here and select green glazed. And now all of them is green glazed. This is one of the things that I was talking about. Why did I, at the beginning of tutorial, duplicated the curtain wall? Because I'm gonna do lots of changes. So I don't like to change the original one. Because if somebody else want to use it, that will be okay with us. So what we did, we actually duplicate it, so it will be ours and not interfering with others. Accordingly, we did a mistake at the beginning. I would like to correct it, which was I used the default curtain wall storefront over here. As you can see, storefront that comes with the template. So I'll go to edit type, go to duplicate, and I'll call that west elevation, remove the 2, and accordingly I can now play around with it. I can change it to whatever I want to. So you saw me changing this, cutting it into parts, adding mullions, and this is one of the methods to do that. The other way to do it is to go over here and to click on the whole wall, then go to edit type. Once I go to edit type, you can see now there is what we call, and let me go like that, the vertical grid and the horizontal grid. And in each one of these, they used a different layout concept, which is fixed distance, fixed number, maximum spacing, and minimum spacing. And the same thing goes for the horizontal. Now, as I said, in the extras of this course, you will find lots of videos discussing how to manipulate this. Please visit this part and you will find lots of information about it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to fixed number. As you can see now, fixed number is turned on, the spacing is turned off. And I'll go to fixed number again over here. And then I will say okay, and once I say okay, now you will come over here and say the vertical grid is at number 6. That's the number of vertical grid, and we will make it 8. Okay, and I will discuss the justification in a moment. And the horizontal will be 3. And I will get this as the 8 and 3. Now, what do we mean by beginning? And what are the other options? Beginning is always from the left. And end is always from the right in the vertical. In the horizontal, the beginning means from bottom. And the end means from top. Center, it's very obvious. I mean the center of the distance. And it will start distributing to the right and the left, top and bottom. So what I chose was I had a fixed number, and fixed number is from the beginning. Now I don't know the distances between these two mullions, but I know that the total number is 8. Now a very simple thing that I would like to show you over here is, if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, means the 8 is the interior ones, without counting the left one or the right one. The same thing goes for the 3. 1, 2, 3, it doesn't count the top and the bottom. Very important to understand these things about curtain walls and store front. Now I'm giving the control all by its properties. Now, if you click on the curtain grid, you can see now it is which mullions. It's a rectangular mullion 50 by 150. And assumingly I want to change that, I'll go to the 3D. And I'll change that to hidden lines. Assumingly I want to change the size, I can do that from the properties as well. So I'm going to select the whole wall, curtain wall, go to edit type, and you can see now at the bottom vertical mullions and horizontal mullions. So I'm going to go over here to interior type and change the interiors, not the border 1 and border 2. To rectangular mullion with a smaller size, it's 30. Same thing over here is. And I'll say okay. And once I do that, you can see now the size is changed to a different size with keeping the border 1 and 2 from top and bottom, right and left, to be the big one. Okay, great. Now, if you go to the 3D, you can see now the vertical mullion is penetrating the horizontal ones. Even at the, you can see over here, it's the same thing. But if you zoom in to the bottom ones, for instance, and click on one of the mullions, if you cannot get it, you can just simply keep pressing the tab. Click. You can see the hash over here. The hash can make it continuous and make it continuous. So it's the one thing that you can do. So it's a little bit unacceptable to do that one by one. So what Revit did to us is helped us by selecting. If you got this case, that means other things have been selected more than the mullions. So we'll go to Filter, remove the grid, and make sure that only mullions are selected. And once you do that, you can see that the make continuous is shown. And if you go to the 3D, you can see now all of the horizontal mullions at the bottom is connected all together. We'll do the same thing over here. I'll come over here, try to pick it up. Make continuous, go to the 3D, you can just get them up, get the view up so you can see now all of the horizontals are connected to each other. So what we did, we show you that in order to control the curtain walls, there are different types of curtain walls. One of them called curtain wall, which is a piece of glass, and you can change the profile, you can cut it into pieces. And as I said, always duplicate, use the duplicate all the time so it can help you control things in a better way. Great, go to tutorial 3 in the PDF file, open the file called tutorial3.rvt and do whatever I did in this video. Thank you very much.